University. I've been there for 15 years, time flies, and my research focus is on germ cell development and meiosis, and really why and how meiotic errors arise. By meiotic errors, I mean errors that give rise to spontaneous birth defects like Down syndrome, and that's predominantly my area of focus. And I'm here at FUR in beautiful Woods Hole because I've taught here every year for about 14 years. So I teach basic chromosome biology, and we do a lab here for the students. I always bring 2 trainees of my own. So these are graduate students that are with me. They're actually second years, so they're very young. Usually I bring older graduate students or postdocs with me. It's very important for them to get training in teaching. And you may have seen over the past 2 days, they've evolved how they're explaining things. It's really interesting to watch. But both of them want to be Furbies, so they both want to do the course. I've had 2 of my former postdocs do be Furbies as well, and they've both gone on to be embryologists in infertility clinics. My first postdoc, Beck Holmes, is one of the top lab managers for a reproductive endocrinology lab in the country. She's done exceptionally well, and without hesitation, I can say that she got her first job because she was a Furby. So it's a really important training experience for them for all sorts of disciplines. And from my perspective, bringing my kids from my lab here is really amazing training for them. On the one hand, many faculty will say this is where they come and get their own trainees. They get postdocs from the cohorts each year. That's certainly an important component. But there's something really lovely about going to a conference year after year and someone comes up to you and says, Dr. Cohen, I was a Furby 10 years ago, do you remember? Of course, I never remember them, but it's really lovely. There's this family connection. So that's really important for me. My postdocs and graduate students don't get many opportunities to teach at Cornell. The graduate students do, the postdocs don't. So a lot of the impetus is to bring postdocs and graduate students with me so they get that experience. It's great on their resume because the FUR course is so well respected. So those are my main motivations. I also love the teaching aspect of it. I don't do much teaching myself actually, and this is a very intensive few days. And then the course evolves, so each component, there's 3 blocks of the course and 3 block leaders, and they rotate off every 5 years. Every time a new one comes on, I think I'm going to be booted out, but they never do, which is lovely, which means that they think I'm sort of a leader in the area, so that feels good. But I also get to see how the course evolves with these different block leaders. It changes quite radically from in the 5-year slot. Honestly, it's very expensive to do the course, relatively, for some of these young investigators, for some people coming from quite institutions that don't have a lot of money, for example. So that's a big impetus. It's expensive, and so they know that this is a huge honor for them. And it's also quite competitive to get in. So I think that's 2 really major aspects. The third is that they buoy each other up. There's a real family feeling, and they all engage each other. You never see a seminar or a lecture where somebody is missing. Someone's decided to take the day off to go shopping or something. That has never happened in the 14 years I've been coming to FUR. They are so engaged, and I think they do that together, and they ask questions all the way through. They're so engaged. I think I've had 1 year where they were sort of slightly less enthused, but that was many years ago, and I've never seen it since. So there's something about the culture and the family feeling. My former trainees who've participated in FUR as students rather than teaching assistants still talk to this day about how they're Furbies. On their websites and on their Facebook pages they say, I'm a Furby. And so that goes with them wherever they go. If you're interested in reproductive biology, and that means if you're interested in contraception, if you're interested in promoting fertility, if you're interested in just the mechanism. I mean, reproduction is a fascinating process. So if you want to understand any aspect of biology, reproductive biology is a good model for it. So whether it's enzymatic function or cell cycle regulation, all of that can be encapsulated within reproductive processes. And I think it's a really great model for that, especially in a multicellular organism type of setting. So I think that's really important. So if you want to do that, reproductive biology is a complicated process to study, and this is really the place to do it. You could go to 15 or 20 labs to maybe pick up 50% of what you learn here, but that would be a huge time sink. But coming here for 6 intensive weeks and hearing from the absolute leaders in the field and learning every technology you might ever want to learn in reproductive biology, I mean, it's just an incredible experience, I think.